I started conformity in... David, what year I start conformity? I was supposed to go for an internship in my university, but I wanted to do something fun. Initially, I wanted to become a pilot with Singapore Airlines. On my last term in university, COVID hit. I knew that my flying dreams were dashed. 5k out of 30k of our capital was gone before we even started the shop. Hi, my name is Brian. I run Conformity, and this is how I did it. We started in May of 2019, where I was in year 3 of my university. I was supposed to go for an internship, but I decided, hey, since I had the 3 months, why not just YOLO and do it? Because I studied in SMU, which was just one MRT station away from where we are currently and where Loop Gums is currently. So I still remember very vividly after class rushing down one station just to line up and wait for the doors to open to buy something that they have posted on their Instagram. And the people over at Loop Gums, they were super nice and they really treat their customers really very well and focus a lot more on building rapport and building relationships rather than just trying to sell an item. So I was really inspired by that. I got inspired by the thrift shops in Japan. So when I was in Japan, like in Harajuku and in Osaka, there were many of these kind of very interesting streetwear thrift shops, if you may, that sold limited edition stuff, streetwear as well as vintage clothing. So that was where I actually got my influence, and I really felt that the retail experience that I had there was unlike any other. It was not a normal retail setting with like normal SKUs of different items on the shelves, but it was more of a variety of different brands, some pre-owned, some brand new, rarer stuff from the 1990s, Nike shoes from the 1980s even. It was a very mind-blowing experience. So I was also very influenced by an American brand called Round 2. The owner of the store, Sean Waterspoon, got made very famous because he won a Nike shoe designing contest back in 2018. And that shoe won the sneaker of the year. And I have the pair apparently. And I started to watch his YouTube videos, which show a day-to-day life in his business, what his staff do, how he interacts with the customers, and that was a very cool experience because that was really almost everything I wanted. We didn't have that concept in Singapore, so I decided to try to emulate that in a little bit. So we actually started off with a very small capital of 30k, and we actually lost 5k before we even started anything. The capital was raised by personal savings as well as my other shareholders, which some are my friends, and we came together and we just put in the money, and they really trusted in my vision, and yeah, we just made it work somehow. Yeah. Because of my new experience, we were rushed to sign a tenancy agreement for a store at a certain mall, I'm not going to say where, which was very new. We weren't told by the agent that because it was a new building, haven't TOP yet, we had to spend over 30k just to get the lighting in and all the basic renovations in. So that was a huge setback for us. Can you imagine, like 5k out of 30k of our capital was gone before we even started the shop? I just moved on. I just found a space, So instead of looking for a place in like a mall which would require very heavy renovation requirements, very heavy licenses to renovate, I then moved to a store under HDB, which was my first store, which had lesser restrictions and cheaper rent as well. So our first store was a very, very small store that is just across the road at Kelantan Lane. We started off by selling just a small selection of vintage apparel as well as some streetwear, and it was me. I worked like every day for a good 3 months, non-stop, and just trying to build relationships and meet the people, meet my customers per se, and it was a very fun experience. Yeah. This was a passion project, and I was going to just do this on the side. I was in year 3 of university back then, and because initially I wanted to become a pilot with Singapore Airlines. That was my dream all along. However, on my last term in university, COVID hit. So I knew that, you know, my flying dreams were dashed. So I had to just turn to whatever I had or whatever I loved the most, which was my store. And therefore, ever since I graduated like 2 years ago, I have been just building it to be my full-time job, as well as making the brand stronger and bigger as well. Conformity is a vintage slash streetwear slash sneaker store. We wanted to create a space whereby anyone could walk in and won't be judged whether they want to buy a $40 t-shirt, a vintage t-shirt, or whether they wanted to buy a $1,000 like Balenciaga t-shirt. So that is the experience we want to give. They are able to come in here, experiment with their taste in fashion, and not be judged at all. Right now, where we're standing is at the vintage section of the store. So I would like to introduce you guys to David. So now David is my right-hand man of Conformity. He started off as a part-timer, and now he's actually our full-time manager here. So David, you want to say a few words about what Conformity is?
Having worked here for 2 years, I realized that we have actually built a lot of relations with our customers. So we no longer have that relationship of me just trying to sell items to people, but actually build strong friendships through like sneakers, talking about sneakers, streetwear and everything. Yeah.
So at Conformity, we actually aim to reduce textile pollution by actually advocating the buying of actually used sneakers and used streetwear items. Unlike other normal t-shirts from brands from normal brands like Uniqlo, a limited edition streetwear t-shirt or shoe will still hold its value after some use. So for example, if I buy a $100 Supreme t-shirt today, I can actually sell it for about 50% after I'm done wearing it for a few months. And here we actually encourage our customers to actually reduce, reuse as well as recycle. So for example, they can actually bring their items to us, they sell it to us at a fraction of the price that they paid for, and we can actually change it for cash or for store credit, where they can use that amount of money to buy other things. So we are trying to build a community here that is very accepting of each other, and as you guys can see on Instagram, we're always very friendly people, and we have made a lot of friends along the way. People that come by not to just purchase, but just to hang out, just to chat with us as well. We also are expanding into other components of retail, such as right now we are selling Pokemon cards, Pokemon TCG, which is also very in line to like the collector limited edition vibe of the shop, as well as collectible toys from Mighty Jacks, as well as in other brands as well. So I would like to see the store just get bigger in popularity, and hopefully we'll be able to move to a location that is more accessible, maybe somewhere near Orchard perhaps. I hope to have a bigger store as well to host more people and have more sitting areas, so people can actually mingle with each other, and yeah. And it's not all about just profiting or just buying. It's more about just creating a community where you can discuss like, hey, you know, like what looks good, and share your thoughts about fashion. Yeah.